Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI Podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
I think you're right on the money, and so glad you kind of went that direction with it. I think we have the ability to not have an opinion about things. We can choose to not have an opinion. And I think so many times, though, it's easy to try to have an opinion about everything. And really just the same way with your team. Are you really going to be great at everything? Probably not. You're going to have some areas that you excel, some areas where you're a little bit weaker that you try to focus on. But if you're going to really care about something and hold a standard on something, I think we have to be prepared today to give them the why behind it. If I want everybody to wear a certain kind of shoe, I better be able to tell them why, because inevitably the question's going to come, Coach, why do we have to do that? I don't like that shoe. This is funny. This happened to me this summer. So taking over Midway in late May, got really started going down here in June to work out the guys just a couple days a week preparing for TABC. Well, where I'd been before for 12 years, we had some standards set that after a long time, it was just, it was a machine. They just did it. There wasn't any questioning why or anything like this. Well, now everything's new. And so I have to check myself like, okay, what do I really care about that? We've always done it this way, but what's the point? And a small example would be shirts under uniforms. I've always liked it personally to where we look a little bit like a unit, like a team, and they can wear an undershirt. It has to match the color of the jersey, but nothing outside the sleeve. So one of our first workouts at Midway, I kind of explained that standard of when we practice and when we play games, TABC or regular games, this is how we're going to go. And one of our juniors came over to me one-on-one and said, Coach, I really like to wear a shirt with a short sleeve shirt with sleeves. And he said, I'm really very comfortable. I don't know if I've played a game without something like that. And I was confronted in that moment with, okay, how much do I really care about that? Because this was my first opportunity with this player to show how rigid am I? How much am I willing to deposit into their account, or am I just always going to withdraw and have this hard line? And so I got everybody, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I got everybody together and I said, listen, this player and I just had a conversation and he's very comfortable with this. So how about, ask the group this question. How about we do this? You have a choice. You can go no shirt underneath. You can go sleeveless, or you can wear a short sleeve shirt. Do one of those three things. Does that work for the group? And they were all, yeah, I'm good with that. So we outlawed long sleeve shirts or arm sleeves or anything like that, but they had a choice of three things. I'm good with any of those three. And I think, Coach, what I'm doing right now is I'm patting myself on the back because that's growth. Because I think 30-year-old me would have been like, no, listen, I just told you what we're doing. And you questioning or asking why is a complete act of defiance. But I don't believe that to be true anymore. And you know what? I don't really care about that. So they have a choice of three. And within that freedom, they're still doing what I want.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think, you have to adapt as a coach. Like we said, like you can't be, hey, this is what it is. Black and white. I'm not going to change anything. Kind of to add to that, every time in recruiting, we get asked this question, I don't care what they wear on their feet. It doesn't bother me. It can be pink. It can be green. It can be black. It doesn't matter. Now, if my AD tells me, hey, Grant, I want all you guys to wear Under Armour, that's completely different. But if it's my discretion, that's not important to me. I want them to feel good, to play good, to have confidence, and it's not important to me. It's just not. Now, being in the building half an hour before the practice is important to me. So that's something that we're going to emphasize every single day. In fact, we will chart when you get in the building, just because whenever you transfer, again, I want you to understand what that level is. I've been at that level, and you can't walk into a workout 3 minutes before it begins with your shoes untied and expect to have a good day. That's just not going to happen at that level. It may happen at the, lower level, junior high or something like that, but it's not going to happen at high school or college or anything like that. So that's something like that. Again, I don't care what they wear. It's not important to me. And I've worked for some people where, hey, that would drive them crazy. But to me, it's just not that important. It's not.
We got to ask the question of, is what we're asking them to do, does that lead to excellence or winning or winning? Because the color of their shoe, in my opinion, probably won't help us score anymore either way. I don't know what, short sleeve, no sleeve, no shirt. I don't know what that does. Showing up early, though, that does lead to excellence and winning. So our culture, our standards, the things that we require of them, I think we'll get more buy-in, less questioning, less resistance if we can help them see this leads to winning. This leads to you showing up and being your very, very best every day.
It's a lifelong skill too, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one day they're going to quit bouncing. And I mean, but and our guys will get sloppy with it. It'll turn to 22, 20 minutes, and then you know, I'll have to emphasize it again. And then we'll get back to it. But that's the bar that I'm not going to move, because I know what it does for people. And two, for our level, this is like a lot of the times where this is the first time in these players' lives that they're going to look across the line, and the kid that they're playing against is a little bit better than them at a few things. And that's a hard player to swallow sometimes, but that's the truth. That's a fact. So how do you close that gap? And we talk about just the process of everything, and being on time and being early is a big part of that. Preparation. How do you prepare for a game? All that stuff. But I mean, it's completely new for guys. Like, you can't just waltz in, 3 minutes before and not stretch and expect to have a good day. So we try to emphasize that early and often. And I just think it's a big skill.
And just for coaches out there that you know, do hold standards and do want the guys to show up a certain way, a certain day, I just want to encourage them. I had the pleasure of getting to go to the Baylor practice. I'm back in Waco, and Coach Drew is still there, so there's just this connection that I'm able to have there, which is really fun. But I was able to go watch their last practice before they leave from Germany. I had my notebook out, and one of the things that jumped out at me right off the bat was all of them wearing practice gear, all the same color. And then I started, okay, let's look at shirts, because I've kind of in this mode of what standards now at Midway do I want to have. They all were white, the colors, and then it was either a sleeveless or a short sleeve. There were no long sleeves. There was no different colors. And then I went down, and everybody was wearing white socks, and they were below the calf, and then any color shoe they wanted. That was like their thing. It seemed to me that's where they get to have control and do what they want and wear what they're comfortable with. So I'm not saying that Baylor is the best in the country, the best program in the country, but they're up there. And so to me and you and anybody else, if they can hold those players to standards, whatever they are, you can see that there was some type of coordination within the group. Man, we can do that for sure then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how we do it is you just have to wear your practice gear. You have got to wear your practice gear. Like, if it's
Let's start there.
I mean, like, you got to wear it. We don't have a gigantic, equipment budget. I'm not in the Big
Sure.
12,
Yeah.
but we got a good one for our level. And, the only thing like that we emphasize is you have to wear your practice gear. and you can't wear long sleeves. And my pet peeve, and it happens every year, is when guys try to flip around their practice jersey and the name's on the back. We nip that in the butt really, really quick. Like, everybody's going to wear it the same. We're not going to do stuff that way. So every year somebody tries that multiple times, and it's just an easy conversation. Flip that over. It's not how we do things. We're going to look the same. That's how we're going to do it. So ours is just practice gear, really.
I love the pet peeves idea. And Mike Neighbors, I had the honor of getting to have a hoops talk with him a few years ago. And he has a long list of pet peeves, and which I don't think that's uncommon. I think we all have them. But then maybe a good exercise is to let's get our pet peeves down and make sure, again, do they lead to winning? Are they intentionally stealing fun away from the guys? Like, for years at Grapevine Faith, I think I might have made a mistake with warm-up handshakes in line. Like, when the guy gets introduction, he comes out and there's a guy at the end that does some handshake. I never let them do that. And after 1 year, I asked the seniors, hey, write down 3 things: something that you like that we did that we need to keep doing, something that we do that we shouldn't do anymore, and something that you wish we did. And again, it was handshakes in warm-up lines. And to me, there was this feeling of that's not what serious programs do. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know why I think that way, but it's like, you feel that way?
Well, I mean, that's not something like that I control, but I could definitely how that could really hurt a coach at a time. I could see that.
Yeah. Like, what's the point? Like, why was I holding back on that? Like, do I really care about it? Or is it just my insecurity of wanting to look like or appear like I'm a serious coach with a serious program? Or can I let them have fun in that area? But he had this long line of pet peeves, a long list, but that's good. But one thing he did is he shared those with his players. And then he asked his players to share their pet peeves with him. And coach, I think that's something that we need to know. We want our players to know the things that wear us out, and we need to know the things that wear them out. And then we got to make that decision. Okay, can I let some of these things go? Doing things that are ruining their experience, and do I care enough to let those go?
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.